Alrighty, good afternoon everyone, and thank you for joining us for another Secret Sunday session. This Christmas Sunday sessions, I've decided to interview people that have been involved in my recovery journey and give you the resources that I can offer and that have helped me during my journey. And today we are joined by Libby, and Libby has been amazing through my journey. She's really helped me rebuild my relationship and kickstart my relationship with food and exercise. So I've decided to bring Libby on today. So I know you very well, Libby, but for all those people out there, who is Libby Babet?
Well, it's a good question, and one that I'm continuing to find out. But still wondering about that myself. No. I guess to give people a bit of a background on me, I am a journalist by trade. Many, many years ago, I worked in media and both newspapers and then magazines, women's magazines particularly, so don't hate me for that one, guys. But I basically had a bit of a health crisis in my early 20s that saw me I guess start to understand food and movement and the body a lot more. I got very nerdy in my recovery, my own recovery, which was to do with a really high blood pressure situation. And I really got into health and fitness. And I also realized that a lot of people make health and fitness really confusing and really intimidating. So I kind of thought, I really want to get into this space and see if I can kind of make it a little simpler from a nutrition standpoint, and also just make it a little bit more welcoming from a movement perspective and a little bit more fun, and also connect people to an awesome group, because when you're a part of a group of people that are just having fun and doing awesome things, life tends to be a little bit on the lighter side, and I think that's really important. So I went into fitness well over a decade ago now. So I've been training mostly women. I have trained men, of course, but I much prefer working with the women, basically because it's, as you're probably aware, with a man, you just give him an awesome session and you say goodbye. But a lot of the women that I work with, it's also an emotional journey, and I really love that. I really love kind of helping people to navigate their feelings around food and fitness too. Not to say there aren't some dudes that really, want that as well, but certainly I've sort of moved towards the area of women mostly. And and I guess I run Nurture Her, which is where I met you, which is a very empowering female event. And that came about through various paths, but I'd also just previous to that been a trainer on The Biggest Loser Transformed. So I had also had an experience, I did that because I had mostly chosen young women to work with, and I really wanted the challenge of working with people I wouldn't normally get in front of and helping them to really change their lives too. And that was a really life-changing experience for me. So that is me, and I run a few food businesses, snack businesses, healthy snack businesses.
Awesome. Great sum up. Wow, that was so quick and so good. Loved it. Tied in a little bow.
Tied a little bow. Done. Tick.
Awesome. So basically, when I saw you at Nurture Her, you taught me a lot about my language towards treating exercise as movement and food as fuel. Why do you think that works and resonated so much with me and probably so many other women as well?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that when we come to talking about to food and to also movement or exercise, to be honest, they are two of the most joyful things in life. Like, how good is it to sit down with people you love, have a good meal, have a gelato on the beach on a summer's day? How good is it to be able to fill your body with everything it needs to think clearly, feel energetic, get up and just feel ready to take on the world. And also to give love by giving food. You bake a cake for someone on their birthday, or you bring them, where you bring new mums a gift while they're, sitting there breastfeeding and not able to get up and cook themselves. Like food, or just sitting around the table with your family. Like, food is love, and it is enjoyment, and it is excitement. You only have to look at MasterChef to see how much fun it can be as well. So an exercise, or moving your body, I like to call it, is what we are made to do. When you think about it, how beautiful does it feel to go for a walk in a national park, or to swim in the ocean, or to learn a new skill like surfing, or to play a team sport with your girlfriends, or dance on a nightclub floor with your girlfriends, as the case may be. It's really, they're two of life's funnest things. And yet somehow what the world has done with them has made them these things that seem like a punishment. Like we've got all these terms like, you know, emotional eating and, overeating and, weight gain and weight loss and, food hang-ups or dysmorphia, whatever it might be, all of these negative terms around something that is really joyful. And then on top of that, we've got exercise, and it's like, one of the number one things I often hear is, oh, I'm too unfit to go to the gym, or, oh, I hate exercise, or I was never the sporty kid. We've got all these negative connotations that it has to be this hard, tough, boot camp type experience. And the way that I really have experienced those two things, or re-experienced those two things in my recovery, I really realized were just that they could be two of the most joyful parts of life if we reframe it. So, one of the things I'm really passionate about, Ash, is, talking to people like yourself who've got sucked into the hole of negativity around two of the world's most positive and enjoyable experiences, and going, hang on a minute, like food is amazing. It is the number one thing we need to feel good in life, to feel energetic. People don't understand, I hate the terms calories and whatever else, because it shouldn't be something we count. It'd be like if we got our social life, which is something else that we love, and we said, hey, you should have exactly this percentage of social time with the people you like per day, and if you're not hitting it, you are a bad person. Who does that? Food is in the same category for me. We should be looking to enjoy it and share it, and it is really something that does fuel your body. And also, I think another word I use around food for you was fuel, yes, because it wants to fuel your activities, but also information, as in information that you would find on a web page. Food is information for your body. So if you think of I don't know, building a web page, let's go with that example. You need someone, there to build the back end, to put in the code, to design it, to make it look good. Food is basically that for your body. It's like, it's this thing that actually, if you don't have enough nutrients and vitamins going in, your body can't make hormones. It can't make, happiness hormones, neurotransmitters. It can't, get your gut working properly, your brain, your heart working properly. Like food has the code in it that creates your body and your mind. If we don't have food, we die. So how can anything about that be a bad thing? Now, I guess one of the main things is that, as we've come, and probably only in the last goodness knows how many years, food has become really highly processed. And so, I think there's food, which is all, veggies and fruits and grains and fats and proteins and fish and meat and all that kind of stuff, and breads. And then there's kind of food like products, there's things that people have put chemicals and refined products together and made all these things that light up our taste buds and are amazing, but are highly, highly processed, and that don't really give us any energy, but are just for fun. And that's cool too. But the problem is that, people don't understand the difference between food and food-like products, between, food that is information and energy and fuel for you, and food that is just for fun, and it isn't really going to do your body any good, except for kind of giving it a quick shot of fun, which is nice too. There's nothing wrong with that, of course. But, I was confused. I found that when I was, going through my own health struggles, I didn't actually understand that food was, I just thought it was something that made me full or not full. It wasn't something that actually fueled my body in that way, that allowed me to participate in exercise, to wake up feeling energetic, to look and feel good, to all that kind of stuff, and to fire up my brain. I didn't realize that. And I didn't realize that relying on a lot of the stuff that was just food-like products was actually making me feel a bit down, and perhaps in the case of something like what you discovered, wasn't making your brain as happy and as well-rounded as it perhaps could be. So, food really is this exciting, wonderful thing that can make us feel so delightful. And, all those foods that we sometimes put into, categories of good or bad or whatever, there's no such thing. Like, food, it's not going to kill someone. It's not good or bad. It's just food. It's just something you eat. And I find that people should kind of, turn their mind from this, catastrophic relationship with food to more like an interest, a curiosity. How can I, how amazing will I feel if I eat that? And I'm not just talking about things like a banana. Like, yes, okay, something like a banana or an egg, they can make you feel amazing from all the nutrients and vitamins. But something like an ice cream on a beach on a summer's day, that can make you feel so happy because you're there with friends. Again, food is not just, you know, energy and information and fuel. It's also love. And you know, that's cool. So yeah, I think people have just got confused along the way with the fact that you want to eat mostly real wholesome food that boosts your energy, and then you also want to be totally fine with eating the foods that convey love and celebration and even just fun, or, you know, sometimes, you know, and all these terms like emotional eating, I don't find that that's a helpful term, because you know, when you're sad, it's okay to actually have a little something to eat. You know, it's actually really, like, food is nurture. Your mum shared food with you. It is love. It does make you feel better. And it's okay to do a little bit of that, you know, so long as you're checking in and going, I'm not going to overdo it because I know I'm not going to feel better. Or in other people's cases, you know, I'm not going to punish myself by not having that because, you know, I'm not feeling good about myself and I don't think I deserve love. Like, you do. Everyone deserves to feel love from everything in their life, whether it's their friends, their family, or sometimes the food they love. So I think reframing it to, you know, food is information and fuel and love and celebration and sharing can be really, really helpful, because you can then, you know, look at why you are or are not eating, and kind of understand what it is you're lacking. Like, you know, I feel like if I look back at my life and look at all the times that I felt like I should restrict my food, it hasn't been about the food or my body at all. It's been more about the fact that I wasn't feeling loved or lovable in that moment. And so it's actually interesting when you're thinking of food as information or fuel or love as celebration, to go, you know what, I'm not feeling very loved at the moment. I've just had a breakup, or I've had a fight with my sister, or, you know, I feel like I'm not as good as my friends at school, or whatever it might be. And just even understanding and recognizing that can go a long way towards going, okay, so it's actually not about that, and I'm cool, I should eat that meal. and what I need to do is connect maybe with someone who can help me feel a little bit of love right now, or show a little self-love by going for a little walk, watching a show I love, all that kind of stuff. So that was a very long answer. But
no, it was very good, very informative. I'm very amazed by, oh, you always say all the right stuff, so don't worry.
It's like, it's one of those things, isn't it? And exercise, just very quickly, the reason I like to talk about that as movement is because, you know, I am a PT of how many years did I say before? More than a decade. So when it comes to movement, you know, if you said to me, hey, Libby, tomorrow you are going to, or tomorrow you're going to start a new regime where every day you have to do an hour full of CrossFit, it's going to be heavy weights, sprinting, I'm going to be petrified. And I'm an extremely fit, muscular person who understands exactly how to do all those forms of exercise and runs a group training gym. So it is normal for people to feel intimidated by exercise. And that's why I love the word movement. You know, if people did nothing but walked a decent amount and ate good food and had a great social life, they would be completely healthy. You do not need a gym. It's the cherry on top. It's socialization. It's fun. You know, it's learning to understand your body better. And again, it's learning and, you know, and socializing. It's not about punishing yourself, and it doesn't have to be hard. So, you know, I love that word movement, because all the things I talked about at the start there, when I said, you know, walking outside in nature, going for a hike, you know, going for a surf, dipping in the ocean, that's all movement. Playing with your daughter, your niece, your friend in the park, that's movement. And if you've got a movement culture for your life, like you're always thinking, okay, I've been sitting down for an hour and a half on the couch, now it's time to get up and have a little move around, you know, that's a really healthy attitude to have. But if you've got a mindset that is like, oh, I must get to the gym every day and I must do this, and my friend's doing this, and if I don't do as much, so I'm failing, that's just creates more stress in your life. And it also, to be honest, is not going to do your body that many favors. Like, you know, our bodies, particularly women's bodies, don't have to be go all the time, and they shouldn't be. So a perfect example is right now. So I have, as I said, I was talking to you before we started this, and the COVID year has been an interesting one for me. You know, I had to move on a number of staff who had to go back home to their homes in the UK and Europe. And because of the way that we had to shut down for a while and then relaunch, I've had to make do with less staff. And that's fine because it's an unusual year and I've enjoyed every minute of it, to be honest. You know how much I love training. But it means that I'm physically teaching and coaching people for, you know, somewhere between 18 and 20 hours a week. Now, what we do at the Upbeat, we work out to the beat with people. And although it's joyful for me, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've totally got no trace of a period right now. And we've had this discussion before. It's not because, I mean, I'm doing everything I can to keep up with them. I'm eating 3,000 calories a day, believe it or not. I've had to track that just to go, I need more because I'm actually, I'm training so much like an athlete. That's the only time it's so useful to track that stuff is when you are competing like an athlete or working out like an athlete. Now, that's my profession. I'm happy to do it. But we're wanting to have a second kid at some point. And so, then it just goes to show that like the female body is so, our hormones are so, what's the word? Sensitive, so delicate. Yeah, that realistically, if you're doing more than 4 hours of exercise that's anything more intense than a walk, that can disrupt your hormones in a week. So if you're doing up to 4 hours of, exercise, strength work or cardio HIIT, whatever, great, Pilates. If you're doing much more than that, it's probably going to affect your hormones unless you're very, very lucky. So, I just want to put that out there because,
it's important.
It is important. And stress, that is a kind of stress for the human body and for the female body is to, be doing that much exercise. And if we've got too much stress, guess what? 9 times out of 10, we're going to be gaining weight because that's what the female body does. It holds on to any calories it can when it's stressed. So, it's not actually more helpful to be doing these crazy amount of exercises, no matter what the outcome is or the outcome you want is. So, everything.
Why do you think, sorry to interrupt, but why do you think we're not told that even when we do, because we're always told, do this many exercises and the more that you do, the better you'll feel, the more weight you'll lose. And yet we're not told that the actual female body will hold on to that weight and you'll put on more weight. Why are we not told that?
It's so weird. And it may well just be because, this is all quite new science that's coming to the fore. And so, the exercise revolutions that happened in the 80s and 90s when it was all, hardcore. And then in the 2000s where it's like women can do anything. And we can, by the way, we absolutely can. But there are outcomes that may or may not be suitable. So, I used to work in a gym that had trained athletes, and can I tell you, 9 out of 10 of those females do not have a cycle, but they chose that because they're an athlete. Like, that's cool. That's their career. That's fine. But then there's a repairing process on the other side of that. And I hope, and I think there's going to be a lot more education around this coming out. However, it's one of those things that it's almost easier to tell people something that is just easy to calculate. And to be honest, there's a huge issue in the world because of all these food-like products with people who, are not moving enough, are eating way too much of the things that are not energy and information for their bodies. And therefore the media just clang on to these things and just go for it, that it's salesy and it seems like there's quick solutions and people have created products that they can make millions of dollars out of, selling this idea that, if we all just do this one thing, like less calories, more exercise, that's going to make us all look amazing, like Cindy Crawford or whoever. And it's not true. And actually my friend, Glenn McIntosh, who is his name is, his business is called Weight Management Psychology. He works on both sides of the spectrum, right? People who are either overweight or underweight. He has this awesome analogy, which I love, which is that if you think about all the dogs in the dog park, terrible thing to talk about with humans, right? But we are kind of all like all the dogs in the dog park. There are little toy poodles. There are big mastiffs. There are, lovable puppy-like, golden retrievers, and there are fierce German shepherds. And they're all that way because, they're all dogs. They're all the same species, but they're all different gene types.
Shapes and sizes, yeah.
100%. They're all different shapes and sizes. And, you could take the big mastiff and you could go, you know what? I really want that mastiff to look like the toy poodle. And I'm going to put him on a treadmill all day, every day. And I'm going to reduce his food drastically. And, that dog will lose weight initially, but he is a mastiff. His body's goal is for him to be strong and, this strong, glowing, protective mastiff. And so as soon as we stop doing that, you know, and the dog's going to be bloody miserable. And, you know, if we did that, the RSPCA would be like, or whoever that is, I think you're the RSPCA, but whoever animal protection rights would be like, what are you doing to that dog? But as soon as you take him off that diet and take him off the treadmill, he's going to put on all that weight again, because, you know, that's not his gene type. And the best thing you can actually do for that dog is to feed them good, healthy food. Let them run around the dog park with the other dogs so they're healthy. It's not like you've cooped them up in one lounge room and not taking them outside to not run, and you're, you know, feeding them McDonald's. It's like you're feeding them healthy food, you're letting them run around, they're socializing, and they're going to be this beautiful, strong Mastiff that's appreciated for who it is. And guess what? The toy poodle is not looking at him going, you know, whatever, you're not right. And the Mastiff's not looking at the toy poodle going, you're pathetic. Like, they're dogs. They're doing what they do. And it's similar with humans. Like, our bodies, what they actually want is for us to be healthy and strong and to reproduce and to be social. That is all humans are made to do. And those are the things that make us happy: moving our bodies, getting out in nature, socializing, eating the foods that will help our bodies and our brains and our hearts to be fueled and strong. And that's it. And, you know, it's one of those things that we just need to understand that, you know, food and movement and our bodies and our minds and our hearts are all on our side, not the opposite. And we are exactly who we need to be. And, you know it, Ash, from, you know, when I look at photos from when you were unwell, all I think is I just want to give that girl a hug, and I feel so sad that you had to go through that. And, you know, I look at you now, this healthy, glowing, beautiful girl, exactly who and what you should be. And, you know, isn't it cool? And are you doing
awesome? And
you're not doing anything that's extreme. You're just living your life. And, so I love that analogy about the dog park, because I just think it's, you know,
it's really good.
It's like humans. Like, I can eat the same food as my husband, and we will come out completely different. I can eat the same food as my sister, and we will come out completely different. Like, and I think in saying that, it's also very normal for people to be thinking about their bodies and their body shape and their weight. And there's nothing wrong with that either. There's actually nothing wrong with it. As long as you check it, because it is in the human biology to be thinking about, am I well? Am I safe? Am I, am I warding off disease? Am I, fit enough to get away from a predator? All that kind of stuff, comparing yourself to other clans and other tribes, and, all that's normal for survival. And I think it's part of our makeup, our genetic makeup. And it's just as long as you understand that, my mind's doing that thing, I'm a bit hormonal today and my mind's doing that thing, and I'm actually awesome and perfect just the way I am. But, or you might be, you've come off, I don't know, you've come off a night with your girlfriends, you've eaten 5 things of chocolate and chips, and you're just like, you know what, I feel a bit low this morning, but it's more that I just need to actually eat something healthy, to feel good, not to necessarily, look different, but just to feel like I'm robust and I've got vitamins and minerals and I'm hydrated, so it's okay to check in and have those thoughts. In fact, it can be helpful, as long as you understand that you need to be doing it from a place that is productive and that is healthy. Checking in and kind of going, you know what, oh, that's an unhealthy thought that I just had, like, which is also important. Not I'm feeling this, but I'm having the thought that I feel a bit fat today, or whatever it might be. It's just that I ate 10 bags of chips with my friends last night, but wasn't that an awesome night? I'm just going to go have an apple or a green juice and we're going to be good. Like, it's important to understand these are thoughts, they're not who you are, and just to move forward in a healthy way.
Yeah, you put it a lot, like, and I think it's a big term these days, what is healthy and what is unhealthy. What do you believe is the difference, and what are both categories if we put health and unhealthy in one?
I think healthy is about, here's my little moment of spirituality, right? I choose to believe that we, are souls who've been lucky enough to drop into earth. We've been given a body with which we can experience this existence, this earth. That's how I choose to believe, just because not because I know it's true, just because I like that thought. And I truly believe, like, to me, healthy is about understanding this is the body you've given with which to experience everything earth has to offer. And trying to make sure that you're doing the best you can by it, and that you approach that with a curiosity, not a judgment. So I think it's totally fine to go, I'm cool with where I'm at, but I also would like to see some change. That's how people do great things. That's how you go, you know what, for example, I had this thought of when I owned my previous gym of like, this is good, but I actually really want to do a gym targeted at females. So I'm going to enjoy this for now, but while I'm here, I'm going to start to learn about, the female body, the female mind, what I can do what it really works to make women happy and engaged and joyful. And I'm going to start to research that. So, I'm here in one place, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying my interactions every day. I'm doing what I'm doing, but I'm starting to plan for the next stage or the next thing that I want to experience. Same as if you were to choose to run a 5K race and you'd never done a bit of running before, or whatever it might be. I think it's okay. It's very healthy to approach life and your body and your mind and your career from a place of curiosity. Like, we're humans, we're made to evolve, and life is a process of evolution, and change. And that's good. Like, if I I graduated uni at 20, and suddenly I was, let's go for a journalism career. I was put on the news desk, the front anchor woman, and the most, the biggest news organization in the world at 20, straight out of uni. I was that good, and I'm going to be there, and I'm there, and there's nowhere above me to get to. And I'm the news anchor for 50 years. I am going to be so bored if there's nowhere to progress to. However, if, as I did at 20, I went in at I think I got paid 18 grand a year when I first started, lackey assistant in a newspaper in regional Australia, work my way out. Then I jump to magazines, and I go into TV, and I do this and that. Then I have this, evolution into health, and I go into health. Then I'm on The Biggest Loser. How cool is that? Didn't work out to be a long-term plan. So now we're doing these beautiful Nurture Her events for women. I'm not stopping as soon as something's a failure and I'm going, I suck, I'm the worst because I couldn't make that work, or I'm not the news anchor, so I'm going to give up. It's a place of like, oh, I wonder what I could do next. Oh, that's interesting. Let's chase this goal and let's learn and grow. And I think as long as you approach your body and your health from that perspective, that's healthy. I think that's a really healthy place, but not from a place of judgment and not from a place of addiction. In fact, one of the best things my mum ever said to me, the first time that I probably I was about 17, 18, the first time that I had a real negative body image moment for myself. Mm-hmm. I don't know, it's a hormonal thing then. I was a late bloomer. I got to that point and I looked in the mirror one day and I was like, gross. And that happens to all of us. That's part of growing up, right? It's one of those moments where you've changed so much and you're hormonal in all the ways. And I was like, no, I don't like it. And I started to, experiment with diets and all that stuff for the first time. Anyway, so it had been a couple of weeks. I'd maybe lost a kilo or two. And my mum sat me down and she said to me, hey Libs, I just want to let you know, like, I love that you're, trying to get healthy and, you're interested in all this, food stuff. And she said, but I just want to let you know one of the things that is a lesson you need to learn in life, which is that losing weight's addictive. And just like anything else that's addictive, whether it's drugs, whether it's caffeine, any of that kind of stuff, when you start to see a little bit of results or you start to get a bit of that kind of druggy hit, you're going to want more and more and more. And, what you want to do is you want to just be aware of that so that that what you're doing feels good, but it can be a bit addictive. It's the same kind of chemicals. And it was just one of the coolest lessons because, I kind of went, oh, yeah, it is a bit addictive. And it just helped me to check in and go, okay, I don't really, and she said the same thing, come at it from a place of curiosity. And it's a helpful thought because any of these things like, losing weight, exercising, caffeine, alcohol, drugs, they're all things that are very addictive because they fire up our dopamine, which is our hormone that makes us go, yes, I'm achieving. Okay. And that probably makes sense to you because you, I know, are a very high achiever. Yeah, right? And
very addictive personality.
Yeah. And so, I'm going to call it a high achiever, non-addictive personality because, and this is the case, most people that I know that have ever had, issues with it, whether it's overworking or whether it's a food eating disorder or whatever, they're just high achievers. And it's never usually that they're unhappy with their body, it's that they're unhappy with something else, and this is what they can control. And so that's just I really loved that lesson. And another lesson that I have learned from working with women over the years, and is that, and this is a probably a hard one to say because I've even seen your family do it, which is that, you know, as a mum now, something that I want to be extremely careful of is the fact that as much as people in your family or other people's families really want to support someone who is either overweight or underweight, as much as they'll be saying it doesn't matter and you're beautiful as you are, either way, but then they'll talk about their own body issues right out there in the open. You know, we want you to not think about it and to, you know, have fun with life, but then you know, I could lose 10 kilos and it's not funny.
No. It's not funny, but we're laughing.
It's not funny. But it's like, it's one of these things we have to be really, really careful about. And, you know, in life is that, you know, all of us are role models in some way. Like, you know, I'm a role model to the women that come into my studio, to my team, to my family and my little daughter. You're a role model right now to so many women and so many gentlemen probably who are checking in here at these sessions. And it's really important that we think of ourselves that way. And what a role model means is not that you tell someone what the right thing to do is. It's that you lead by example. So, you know, what you're doing here and having these conversations is really important. You know, I've always said, I walked into an accountant once, the first accountant who I was like, I've got to get help with my books here. I need this accountant. So I walked into an accountant and this guy had like paper everywhere, like stacked up on the floor. Half his lunch was on someone's paper. And I just said, Justin, I can't, because this is how my brain feels about accounting. And right now I need someone who I walk in and there's just, they don't even have to think about it. There's like order, you know, that to me is, he's role modeling someone who can look after my finances, you know, without the mess that I create. And so, you know, I think it's super important that, you know, we start to talk about, you know, health and wellness and food and positivity, you know, bodies and social time in a really positive light. You know, that we're not naming things, you know, like you have to eat this many calories, you have to exercise, but it's like, you know, oh, I really feel like I need to move my body because I've got a bit cloudy in the head, like, let's go, it's going to make me feel so much better. Or, you know, oh my gosh, I can't wait for this birthday celebration. Yes, there's going to be a whole lot of like lollies and cake, whatever there, but it's a celebration and that's so exciting. And I'm going to absorb all of the love from the people and the food, you know. It's very important that we start looking at these things in positive light, and that when we do want to make change, and it's totally fine to want to make change, there is nothing wrong with saying I want to be fitter, I want to be leaner, but that you're focusing on it from an area of like, you know, curiosity and betterment as opposed to judgment and hate. You know, it has to be like, you know, it has to be, oh my goodness, I want to get fit. I'm really excited to challenge my body. You know, I'm going to start with this and then I'm going to try this when I'm ready, but not going to go over the top too much to scare myself. You know, it's just, or I really want a social girl group to work out with. I'm going to try this cool Pilates place that has, you know, female events every month. You know, it's from a positive place, which is why I have never once done a before and after photo in any of my gyms. I think it's terrible to share that online. And I know that I shouldn't say whatever anyone wants to do, fine, but I think that before and after photos and, you know, programs that make you do X, Y, and Z, it's like, are we educating or are we just trying to sell and make other people feel bad, you know? Because even for me, like, there are some trainers who I go on to the Instagram and it's just all these before and afters of women that look amazing now. And even I will think, oh, should I do that? It's ridiculous. So, you know, that's something, our bodies as females change so many times in our life, like, you know, and it's not about getting to a certain place. It's about experiencing the life and the changes that you'll go through in a way that is fun. Like, we only get one life and gosh, we've got to enjoy it. And, you know, moving and eating are two of the coolest, funnest ways to experience love and life. And so I just think, you know, why put a negative or a hardcore tinge on them unless you want to put a hardcore tinge on it because you love doing like 20-kilometer races and that's what you love and that's cool, you know?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Do you think you talked about a lot about change and that's okay to want to change your body. Do you think there's a certain age though that people should pursue change if that's what they're willing to do? Like someone that's, you know, in their teenage years, should they be wanting to change their bodies that young?
I think if they have, okay, for example, I'll give you this idea. So, you know, Nikki, who was on The Biggest Loser with me, Transform, she's one of my clients. Now, she was beautiful exactly as she was, absolutely beautiful. You know, if she walked in and I would not have said a negative thing about her body. She was curvy, she was sexy, she was gorgeous. How she felt, though, was so sad, so underconfident. Now, I can tell you, like I said before, when people want to change their bodies, it is never about the body. For her, she had never had anyone take her by the hand and say, let's go and move. Let's go and, you know, do an exercise class together. Let's go for a hike together. She had no concept of movement. All she knew life was school and intimidating school sport and sitting in front of the TV, you know, like that. And as a result, those are all things that were making her feel bad, like not enough movement, or the movement she was doing was competitive and she didn't know how to do it. And so she was feeling like a loser. You know, that's not a fun headspace to be in. So do I think she should pursue change? She was doing it for the wrong reasons at the start, but she did not know what those reasons were. So did it help her to have someone like me come along and be like a big sister and say, you know what, let's just have some fun. And let's go and do a dance this and a this, that. And let me show you how to exercise. Let me show you how fun this can be. She needed that change. Otherwise, she's going down a path of depression. So I do think it's fine as a teenager to go and pursue change. Yes, absolutely. But again, you know, to look at the reason. So if there's a teenager watching this that's like, you know, I want to change my body. I don't like it. It's too big. Like, first of all, think about the reasons that you might actually be upset, because it's not necessarily about the body. Is it lack of social connection? And school can be hard for that, because it can sometimes, if you don't fit in with the people that you see at school, or you think you don't fit in, where else is there to go? Well, there are lots of places to go. You know, you can go and join a hiking club. You can join an art club. You can join all these things outside, whether it's with other students or with adults, something that connects you to a different kind of group of people. That might be all you need to feel happier and accept yourself for who you are. Maybe it is actually that you are doing barely any movement. And as a teen, you've got all this either testosterone or estrogen going on, both of which require you to move, to feel good. You might be, you know, you might be stressed with exams or whatever it might be. And you might, you know, want to feel good. Like there's a girl that came into my gym this year who was doing her HSC, or she was about to do her HSC. She couldn't squat. She had no body awareness whatsoever. She came in looking like this. Oh, I just don't, well, you know, like myself. I said, you know what? Do you know what? I don't want you to change anything in life. I just want you to come and have fun. Just come in here 3 times a week and look at it as a party. Like come in and have fun. And she did. And now she's just finished her HSC. She has had body change, but it's not been from a negative place. She's connected. She's made good friends. She's learned how to move her body. She can do things that she just didn't know she could do before. So it's more about achievement of what she's able to do than what she couldn't. And it was the same with Nikki on TBL. They both got body outcomes. They both did, you know, become stronger and fitter and more confident in their bodies. And yes, they saw a little bit of change. In one case, a weight loss. In the other case, just actually, you know, was originally like this and then built some good muscle. So, but they both feel amazing now and empowered. So yes, I do think it's fine to look at change, but from a perspective of, you know, what you want to feel, not what you want to see. Yeah. Because for me, body positivity is never about what you see. It's about how you feel. Like, I can tell you that I have had times when I've had the best body in the, you know, in my world that I will ever have. And I have not felt good about myself. And it's, you know, one of those times was after I had 2 of my cousins pass away who I was very, very close to within a couple of years of each other. And it got me, you know, it got me. And I didn't like what I was, and the moment that I realized this isn't about my body. I had some breakouts at that point as well. It's not about what I'm seeing on my face or on my body. You know, I've got all this, you know, I've put on a few kilos and I've got some breakouts because I'm just sad and I'm a bit stressed. And, you know, and the minute that I realized that and stopped beating up on myself for it and started going, what can I do to make myself feel better? Like, I need to go and have a little break, see my family. I need to start just, you know, stop doing the hardcore movement for a while and just be gentle with myself and do some nice yoga and walking and just get back to who I am. I closed one of my businesses for longer than I normally would and took a bit of a break. And I came out the other side with a body and a face that was no different, but feeling so good about myself. And so, you know, I always think body image is about what you do, not how, or how you feel on the inside, not what you're actually seeing. Because you know, if you're doing nothing all day and you're eating junk food and, you know, you're feeling negative, it's probably to do with the fact that you're not moving, which gives you happy hormones, and you're eating junk food all day long, which means you're getting no vitamins and nutrients. And then, yes, I would love for you to change. I would love for you to change what you do, not who you are, you know, for you, not for the way your body looks. And that person will probably see that they might lighten up a little bit in the body, but it's not about that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you talk a lot about gentle exercise and more intense exercise. I often feel sometimes in the media there's a real difference, and one is classified as exercise and one isn't. So is gentle exercise, like your Pilates, your yoga and walking, is it actually classified as moving and doing effective work? Because a lot of people criticize it.
Totally is. In actual fact, you know, let's look at the other side of things. I have a lot of grown adult women come to me saying that they have, you know, that their bodies are not where they want them to look or feel like they feel fluidy, or they, you know, are feeling overweight, or they're feeling underweight, or whatever it might be. All these various concerns, you know, that come to a PT. And they'll come and tell me this. And often the key issue is that they're doing too much really intense exercise and not eating enough, you know. And even for the ones who are overweight and can't shift weight, as soon as they actually reduce that high go all the time and they start to eat, you know, more, they will have the body that their toy poodle, mastiff, German Shepherd, Labrador should always have had. Because, you know, when you think about it, if you think about that, going back to the dog example, you know, if you totally stress a dog out by, you know, putting it in front of a screen all day, you know, making it run like crazy, making it eat, you know, not feeding it enough, or even a better example, think of a racehorse. Think of like, you know, Melbourne Cup winning racehorse. How do we treat them? We feed them nutrient-rich foods and plenty of it to fuel all that beautiful muscle. You know, we run them, but not too much. Not too much, but not too little either. Like, you know, just a good amount. We have recovery days where they're just walking, you know, all this stuff. And yet we don't treat the human body the same. So the female body in particular, like I said, we have a kind of a monthly cycle. So actually, you know, it kind of goes on 4 weeks. So from, you know, after the first few days of your period have passed, that next few weeks where, you know, well, let's start with the period. First day of the period, we are usually feeling totally exhausted and deflated, and for the days leading up to it too. And the reason for that is because actually at that time, if you really deplete yourself and go hardcore, you deplete your energy for the whole next cycle. You know, so actually in the few days leading up to your cycle and the first few day or two of it, you just want to kind of chill and walk and stretch, so that you don't deplete your body for the entire next month. Because right then is when your body is starting to, you know, get all the sex hormone it needs to do a whole fresh cycle. So there's little things like that, you know, whereas, you know, a couple of weeks after that, you might be feeling full of energy and ready for a hardcore hit session. So for women, even more so than men, it's really important that we actually listen to our bodies. That's not to say that movement is ever a bad idea, but, you know, high intensity exercise can be a really bad idea sometimes. You know, it's important to go, you know, I'm feeling really low energy today. I'm going to go for a beautiful walk, take it slow, and it all counts. So I'm a big believer in walking. I truly believe that if we just walked more and did 10 minutes of strength every now and then, we'd be in really good shape as women. So, you know, physically, mentally, emotionally, we tend to completely drain ourselves and drain our hormones, and it's not good for anything, including our body shape. So, interestingly, I talked to you, Ash, I think at the time when I met you, you were still trying to get your cycle back. And really importantly, when we're doing that, what we need is less kind of stresses on our body. So your body can't really tell the difference between different kinds of stress, whether it's that you're eating really crappy food that's highly processed with a lot of nasty, processed oils in them, like deep fried foods and whatever else. Whether it's that you are not getting enough vitamins and nutrients because you're not eating enough healthy food, whether it's that you're sitting at a computer till all hours of the night and you're so stressed out, or whether it's that you're not getting enough sleep, or whether it's that you're doing exercise that's just so stressful and your body's struggling to recover from it. All of those things will affect our hormones as a female. So it's, that whole old saying that was like, everything in moderation, that is truly true for everything, including exercise. So Pilates, strength work, yoga, walking, yes, they are exercise, but more importantly, they are different forms of movement that are going to really help you to stay healthy, and sometimes I feel like where we'd be healthiest is if everyone just took away all the gyms and all that stuff, and also our cars, and we just did a variety of exercise, just like it's good to get a variety of food, fruits, veggies, grains, a little bit of naughty stuff from time to time, because that's really yummy. You want some chocolate. And even I use the word naughty there, but it's not naughty. Stop it. It's not grown on the earth. But yeah, it's like, if we ate plenty of variety of food, that's all you need to know. Make sure that a lot of it came from the earth, or, either was grown on trees or from the earth, or walked or swam, those are the important things. Or, if we had to do a variety of exercise, sometimes we swam, sometimes we walked, sometimes we cycled, sometimes we lifted things, that is great. So again, like I said, exercise is one of those things that can be addictive. And I think the best kind is always the kind you have fun with. And what I've learned in my over a decade of working with women is that actually, although we can do everything that men can do, absolutely, which is why I love female athletes and the empowerment they bring to the rest of us. We can, but it does come with a cost. So, it does, just because we can, it doesn't mean we should. For the everyday woman who wants to just feel energized and healthy, we need to do, a little bit of strength training, very important, whether that's Pilates or just body weight strength at home, or whether you're going to a gym for that, awesome, with good technique, ideally, and a little bit of stretch, because that keeps us mobile, and every now and then get your heart rate up a little bit, but otherwise just walk it out, swim it out, surf it out. Like, if I could boil it down to something, it would be to enjoy life. Enjoy your movement. Don't look at it as a punishment. Look at it as a reward. Enjoy your food. Don't look at it as, good or evil, or again, punish your body by not having it. If you had pizza and Coke and chips one night, it does not mean that you can't have a healthy breakfast when you wake up the next day. A good breakfast. You don't have to punish yourself by restricting, and your body does not work that way. Women just need a little bit of something to help their bodies, their muscles be strong, and some good, movement, whether that's walking, swimming, whatever you enjoy. For me, it's a combination of Pilates work, so body toning work, and dancing, because I love dancing.
It's freaking awesome dancing.
It's awesome. But people think that, I get invited every year, for example, to do all these fun runs in City of Surf. I never run, ever, 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 ever. I never run. Not to say you can't and it's not awesome, because it is, but I don't like it, so I don't do it. You don't need to do one kind of thing, I know that heavy weights in a gym is great for you and it's empowering. I hate it myself. I hate it. I feel like someone's put a giant backpack on my shoulders and I don't want to carry it.
Get it off. Go.
I don't get it off. I love ankle weights, little toning reps and high reps to the beat of the music. That's me, but some people will hate that and they shouldn't do it. That's cool. I would just say, we're made to move, humans, and we're also made to forage on all the foods that the beautiful earth has created for us. So as long as we're mostly doing those things, the other fun bits in between, the cake at the birthday and the cookie in the afternoon and the, chocolate after dinner or whatever, that is awesome and fine too, because that is love. It's self-love, it's social love, it's family love, I love nothing more than, again, it's not a healthy food. It's not even a healthy chocolate. I don't eat it myself, but Izzy loves Kinder Surprise because there's a toy in the middle.
Yes.
for that reason alone, I love buying her a Kinder Surprise after she's been at daycare sometimes. And we'll sit and we'll open it. We get the toy out. We share the chocolate. I don't even like the taste of the chocolate. It tastes gross to me. But, it's love. And I will forever love that product for the joy it gives us, despite the fact that it is basically pure sugar. So, I'll never feel bad about that. I would never look at the calorie count on the back of that. I just please don't punish yourself with the things that are supposed to be so enjoyable in life. And when I think the trouble is that when you punish yourselves with two of the most joyful things in life, what ends up happening is that you take away most of the joy in your life. And I think you've probably experienced this. And most people I know and who I've guided through food related, body related issues, it's like you're stealing your own joy. And one of my trainers said something great to me today. I said, "Oh, do you want to meet with me at 4?" And I said, "I'm chatting to Ash and we're going to have a really good chat about, food and exercise and body image." And she was like, "Oh my God, I had the best thought the other day." And I said, "What was that?" She's just this gorgeous girl, right? She said to me, she goes, "Oh, I had this thought that when you go away, someone went away on a holiday, one of our clients, she came back and she said, 'Oh my gosh, I've put on 5 kilograms.' And I just had this thought that was like, oh my God, that is just memories you brought home with you. That's the wine you had on the beach and the ice cream and the deep fried chips you had every night because they were awesome at the little, place next door to where you were staying. Like, how good is that?" And I'm like, that's the coolest thought, but it's kind of true. It's like, there's nothing wrong with it. And if your body stayed the same all the time throughout life, there'd be none of that curiosity as to how can I feel a bit fitter? What can I change that would make me feel good? And the curiosity is the fun part, that's the part where you get to experience achievement and without judgment.
Yeah, it's amazing. Our bodies do keep adapting. And I think it's so key that the message that you've always shared with me, which has been amazing, is changing your perception around, instead of using the word food and exercise, changing that and changing your relationship. And as you said, making it fun, because we're only here for a short period of time. So you may as well enjoy it.
Yes, nourishment and movement. And that's what food is. It's nourishment, and again, that Kinder Surprise, that is nourishing my heart.
That's beautiful.
I just love it. Every time it was so funny. My husband, he's like, "I don't think I've ever seen you eat a Kinder Surprise, like any of that, like that kind of, chocolate that's just because I love like really good chocolate. I'm a bit of a chocolate fan of I love the really artisan chocolates that are like $15 for the block. And then eating it and be like, yes. And he was like, "Why are you eating Kinder Surprise?" I'm like, "Because Izzy loves it and therefore I love it." He's like, "But you don't have to eat it." I'm like, "But I do, because I also don't want her to see me going, no, I can't eat that." And this is an important lesson for anyone who might watch, who has kids or even has little sisters or little brothers, or just, even to yourself. Like, I don't want to be the kind of person that can't eat the Kinder Surprise because it's not good for me, because it is good for me. It is.
It's good for up here.
It's good for up here. And it's not going to make a difference to my body as long as, the majority of what I'm doing is enjoying all the food that's real food, not just food-like products, food that is really nourishing me, that, I'm giving my body nourishment, but I'm also giving my soul nourishment by not caring about controlling everything, because that allows you to, when you let go of that control, it allows you to experience things rather than think about them. I think that's where the best connection happens. Like, if you go into a date thinking about, something someone else has said about someone, and so you're thinking about your preconceived ideas about this person, it's not going to be that great. If you're going, I have no idea who this person is, someone set me up with, and you look at them like the best person in the world, that is, that's a cool place to come from. It's the same with any relationship. They say about, marriages, and I've had one for 10 years, so it's 11 years. Oh God, 11 years. They say about a marriage, destroy it when you go to bed and rebuild it fresh in the morning every single night. And what that means is, like, after 10 years with someone, so much about, who they are and what annoys you about them, and what they do that's kind of, whatever. And so, but if you wake up just waiting for them to, leave their cup on the table or whatever it might be, that is a bad place to start that relationship from that day. But if you wake up, when you go to bed, you're like, I'm going to just like that 100 First Dates or whatever movie with
Oh yeah,
or, you know,
Adam Sandler. Yeah.
yes, it's like, you know, if you go to bed and you're like, you go, I'm going to wake up like I've seen this person for the first time, and you expect the best and you experience new things, like that is an awesome place to be. And it's also a really good thing for us to do if we're experiencing negative body images. Try and go, you know what, I'm going to let go of all the things I think about my body and food and what I should or shouldn't be doing. And I'm going to wake up and look at me like someone I've never met and see the bloody good bits and experience life through their eyes, you know, because it's hard to do, but it is a work on. And it's something that you need to understand that no matter where you are and what you feel you're going through, like you are absolutely enough, like absolutely enough. And you know, look at yourself the way you would look at a sister or a friend or someone that you just think is amazing, because I can guarantee you someone else is looking at you exactly that same way with all the love in the world.
You always know what to say. It's always so beautiful. So where can we find you? Where can our viewers find you?
Yes, well, if you want to find me, I'm at Libby Babet, which is Libby Babet, like babe with a T on the end.
Nice one.
So I mostly hang out on Instagram, or because I'm not so good at all the rest of the things, but Facebook too. And you can see everything else I do there. And I offer on those pages both, you know, just lifestyle stuff and you know, positive thinking.
Also mum stuff.
Yeah, a lot of mum stuff, but also, you know, practical stuff when you are ready to have a curiosity about, you know, how you can fuel yourself a little better and move a little more effectively. So whenever you look at things I give, remember, it's never a judgment. It's always ideas and curiosities as to how you can make yourself feel better, because it's always about how you feel, not actually what you see. How you feel fuels exactly what you see. And it doesn't, you know, you can look one way. You know, God, I tell you, I'm so much older than I was when I used to look at myself and go, "Whoa." And now I look way older and I look at myself and go, yes, you're an awesome human. And like, you know,
high five me.
Good me. Exactly. And that's important, you know, because you've got to have that gentleness and remind yourself that you are enough and you fulfill.
And you got to give yourself a break and have no rules. That's the key.
Oh my gosh, I just thought I got a shock then. I just thought there was like a giant bug crawling on my leg, but it was this balloon that had just come.
Is that your drawing or Izzy's drawing?
Thankfully, it's Izzy's drawing.
I was getting worried then. I might have to give you a call after this.
I'm just hanging out designing balloons, don't worry.
Awesome. Well, on that note, thank you all for joining us today for another Secret Sunday session. I am so grateful to be joined by Libby. She's helped me so much in my journey. And as I said, the biggest thing that she helped me with is changing my perception and rebuilding my relationship with exercise and food, which was really unhealthy during my diagnosis of anorexia. But with her help, it's been amazing. And these are the people that you need on your team. So go check Libby out. She's incredible. And we'll see you next time. Thank you, Libby.
Thanks you so much for all you're doing for the world, Ash. It's awesome.
That's okay. We're all doing our part.